channel. I am Katsu, and today I would like to tell you all about another one of my hobbies, this time about medieval festivals and history. Though I will mostly focus on the medieval festivals, Renaissance fairs, and other stuff that I attend, usually along with my dad. And of course I have few props and stuff that I got on those festivals to show you, so let's just start. So right at the beginning, let me address the elephant in the room, because if some of my friends are watching, and you probably noticed that I'm wearing a shirt from the Battle of Grunwald, and it features a Polish eagle of Jagiellon dynasty. Well, the story goes as follows. The first time I went for a celebration of the anniversary of the Battle of Grunwald, that is held year by year on the battlefields, me and my dad decided to get matching shirts. Why, quote unquote, I will tell you in a moment. Or actually now, because, well, as you can imagine, since it was a battle between the Kingdom of Poland and the Teutonic Order, there's two type of merch that's available on Place. The merch themed with Poland and Polish Jagiellon dynasty eagle, and a Teutonic Order with their coat of arms, the cross. At that time, I wasn't really all that much into Teutonic Order and their history yet, but my dad already was a huge fan of them, and we decided to, get the shirts, like one would get the Teutonic one and one would get the Polish one. So, they are kind of matching, kind of not. And, well, given the circumstances, I just let Dad have the Teutonic Order shirts, which left me with the eagle one. It's actually done with this foil method. I'm not sure, it's not a print per se. The coat of arms is like a big slab here. Same thing with the letters. But I basically put it on only when I go to Grunwald. Me and Dad usually wear our Grunwald shirts on the day when there is a reconstruction of the battle on. So, it is a few years on now, but it's in a pretty good shape. And well, speaking of Battle of Grunwald, and that celebration, I just cannot miss one of my most prized souvenirs that I own, being my belt. It's made of brass and leather. It's a typical reconstruction of a medieval belt. However, I will talk about the design and the way it looks on a separate video that I'm planning to do on the medieval clothing that I have, because I actually own a reconstruction of medieval dress. I mean, a dress, obviously, I mean like, clothing, suit, etc. However, in the historical language, it's even, for men, it's called a dress. Especially that it's long, but okay, about that, it will be in that video. However, why this belt is also a souvenir, not only because I bought it on Grunwald, but also because, apart from the brass fittings, as you can see here, it also features the silver ones. And those silver ones I buy every time I'm at the Grunwald celebration, and I attached it to the belt. However, it is not fully complete yet, because as you can see, there are only two fittings. celebration 5 times. But it's just a very recent idea. I am planning on making it up. However, well, in the meantime, 2020 happened, and we all know how it ended. Yeah, so that is my belt. Well, my dream is, to have it all in silver, in those silver fittings. Also, I really like it, and I would love to wear it daily. However, it's in this very typical medieval design, which means that it is slightly longer, and this front part kinda, sticks out and, wears down, so for a modern day it would look really awkward. But there is still hope, because, well, I actually need to change my normal belt, since it's already too big for me, and, well, I will try to look for something medieval-ish themed. You also have to know that the Battle of Grunwald is not just a reconstruction of a battle and the celebration of a battle. It's the entire Renaissance fair, with the market, the tournaments. Actually, the Polish championship in the night battles is held at Grunwald. And me and my dad are always huge supporters of Marcin Waszkiewicz, one of the duelists, and the Polish Knights team, Legenda Północy, Legend of North, because, well, they are from our region of Poland, so. And we are there mostly for tournaments, because the reconstruction of a battle is more or less the same year by year. So nowadays we are there for tournaments and for the marketplace, because we always get some cool stuff on the market. This is also where I actually got my first weapon, and I'm about to show you. So if you're sensitive for weapons and blades and stuff, I advise you turn the video off, or skip to about 5-10 minutes. Okay, so this is it. It's a knight dagger called Misericordia, which comes from the Latin word misericordiae, mercifulness. Why? Because, well, back in the medieval times, this dagger was used to kill the already mortally wounded knights on a battlefield, and doing so was seen as a merciful act. And I see the logic, because, well, you kinda, shorten the torments of fellow knight. But obviously I got it because when it was very cheap. I got it for about 20 zlotys, which would be like, I don't know, £4, €5, something about that. At least at the time, obviously it was many years ago. And well, to get it more stylish, I painted the pommel and the crossguard with golden paint, but obviously it wore down over the years. And my dad made me the leather sheath, handmade by him, however, according to my specs. The brass fitting here, and the brass buttons down. I mean, they're not like buttons like in a shirt, but I don't know the name of this piece. Black leather with this brown stripe. However, I am absolutely planning on painting the leather in white, blue and black, since those are the the colors of my family coat of arms. And also I here have a loop to attach it to the belt. And I also now have this dagger and to wear it alongside my medieval costume in place of a sword. Because the knights wore a sword, but it would be very unpractical on the Grunwald grounds, so I just opted for a dagger, which was also associated with knights. Also, fun fact, as you can see, the dagger also looks like a miniature sword of sorts, and many knights, at least in Poland, I don't know if anywhere else, but many knights used to swear the oaths by holding this dagger like this, because it now resembles a cross. And well, as we know, we're talking about the medieval times, so Christianity was pretty heavy going in Europe. Also, if anyone is terrified of me holding the blade, don't worry, it's dull. I don't know if I would be allowed to ever carry a sharp dagger and like out in the open in the field. But also, I'm not anticipating any attackers or self-defense type of situations, at least not on the battlefield of Grunwald. Paradoxically, there's a lot of people there and the community is great, so there's no need. So it's just for looks. But absolutely, it's proper steel weapon, so if I ever want to, I can sharpen it. So, there is my dagger. Another part is obviously a sack. This one is also made of leather. And yes, I actually have a few coins in there. However, usually I keep my reconstructed historical coins in this one, but as of right now, the coin collection is at Dad's house, so I just have a regular coin, a small change in here. It's also a leather sack with those strings, and I also, make a loop out of them and wear them by my belt in the medieval costume. However, I cannot really recall where I got it or why exactly. Probably at another festival that me and Dad are going to, the Siege of Malbork, which is again held annually around 22nd to 24th of July to commemorate the start of the Siege of Malbork. Again in 1410 after the Battle of Grunwald. However, the siege was lost by the Polish. And I'm pretty sure that this sack, as little as it is probably meant to be worn around the neck, like so. But, well, I wear it by my belt. And about the Siege of Malbork, maybe. About the festival, of course. It is much smaller festival than Grunwald. The tournaments there are purely for show. They are not any sort of league ones like on Grunwald. But I live pretty close, so I'm there every year, and also the castle of Malbork is quite an important place for me, so we are there anyway, especially that around that time there's always some sort of extra sightseeing tour, like for example there is a tour by night, or there is a living castle exposition, which means that there are hired actors and people from the reconstruction community to actually act out some moments or some scenes. For example, you enter the kitchen and there are cooks preparing food, or if you're going by the gates, there are guards by the gates, standing with weapons and stuff, or there are some troops going in and out, stuff like that. It's really nice, especially if you're the first time visitor. And of course, there is always some nice show. There are riders, on a horseback. There are cannon shows. However, like I said, this is way more of a festivity than a tournament. But I really like going there because I like Malbork. It's also one of my favorite places to go. And I think this is where I got it, because actually the Siege of Malbork was the first medieval festival I ever went on with my dad. It was not Grunwald, it was the Malbork. So I guess it could be bought there. But obviously the medieval festivals that I'm attending, it's not only the late medieval period, Grunwald and Malbork. I had a luck to once go to Volin, the ensemble of Vikings and Slavs, I think that's how it's called. And since I'm a huge fan of Nordic mythology, I got myself this handy bronze Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, and I will show you the close-up because the carvings are just otherworldly. Apparently, as I learned later, it's a reconstruction of one archaeological find, which I didn't know at the time. I just bought it because it looked cool. And fun fact, I actually bought it from a Russian-speaking trader. I'm not sure if he was from Russia, Belarus, or Ukraine, but we were talking in Russian. So it was quite an experience, because it was, I think, the first time I actually spoke to someone in Russian outside of my classes. So it was quite an experience, and this is something I have to tell you. On these medieval fairs in Poland, you will find a lot of Russian-speaking people. And I keep saying Russian-speaking, not Russians, because they are not necessarily Russians. They are often Belarusians or Ukrainians as well. And also about this Mjolnir necklace, I used to wear it daily back in high school, and sometime also in college, but recently I stopped because, well, back then I actually considered myself practicing pagan, but now I just don't really identify with it anymore, especially when I met people who are actually practicing it, like in a assembly church-like form. But that's a story for another time. So now it's just a nice memory and souvenir that I got. Yeah. So I think that was all I got to show you. Like I said, also there is an episode about medieval clothes coming, and maybe one day if I gather armor, because I'm planning on, maybe I will make a sort of a part 2 where I would showcase my armor and battle gear, because I also have a mace and a sword as well, but again, they're at my dad's place. I don't have them here with me, so I guess wish me luck on armor. And I'd like to thank you for today's episode, and hope you have nice dreams and about the glorious days of medieval Europe, your knight, or may you meet your knight or your princess in there. And I also hope one day I could meet you guys at some of the medieval festivals in northern Poland. And until that time, farewell, goodbye, sweet dreams. Bye bye.